Hello everyone, this is a one controller port quick play stream or quick play of Gabriella's Ghostly Groove Monster Mix for WiiWare. This is going to be another one of those episodes where I don't talk about it while I play. It is a dancing rhythm game, so it's going to be pretty much just me up in the corner dancing around while I sit here and voice over the footage. I will let you know that in recording this, I didn't realize that the shirt I had was kind of like cut shorter than most of my other shirts. So if you do see anything, I'm sorry. You're gonna probably see some skin in there. Get your skin in the game. So if you are offended by my body, then feel free to leave, I guess. So let's get into it. So, like I said earlier, this is a WiiWare title, so just as a heads up, if you do not currently own Gabriella's Ghostly Groove, there is technically no legal way for you to purchase it now, because WiiWare is gone. But there are ways to get your hands on Gabriella's Ghostly Groove, if you really want to. Piracy, oh, don't listen to me. But yeah, so basically, as you can see here, it's pretty standard. You use a single Wii remote in your hand, and you basically try to mimic the characters on screen as best as you can. The game doesn't really do a fantastic job of tracking you. You can kind of do whatever you want for the most part, and the game will be like, good, great, except for certain times. There's like, it's weird. There's like specific moves that really want you to be, I don't want to say accurate is the right word, but it's looking for some specific input to be happening. And you can get parts in time where you just, it's difficult to know exactly what you should be doing to get the great feedback here. One thing you might notice is that at the bottom of the screen there's kind of like a scrolling bar that's kind of supposed to be showing you what moves are coming up. What I think is kind of curious about it in this case is that you can see in Gabriella's hand right there that every time it flashes is basically every time it considers a note being hit or like a note being tracked. So like if you're not moving, it will still flash the hand. It'll just say miss instead. And there's at times pretty long gaps between these little icons that tell you what's going to be happening next. And sometimes they actually will do different moves and things like that, even though it's not being displayed on that bottom bar. So even though I pretty much leave it on this entire time, most of the time you're actually watching Gabriella herself, the girl with little ghost hair on the left there. So it's in my opinion, it doesn't do a very good job of kind of giving you any sort of feedback as to like what moves are coming up. Also, why you're succeeding at certain moves, why you're not succeeding at moves. As you can see there, after a certain period of time, or after you finish a song, you get a chance to earn some clothing options. Basically, the plot of this game is that the whatever world this is, the underworld world or whatever, their zombies are missing. So you have to dance to get their zombies back, and you have to help Vlad out. And when you get the zombies, they go back there and start partying by the mansion. And so kind of the ultimate goal of the game is to pull all these zombies in. That's kind of the initial setup, but the more and more you get into these missions, the less it becomes about that and more about just kind of dancing to solve people's problems. Like, oh, this person has hiccups. We're going to dance to solve that. And there's only about, I think it's like 10 missions we can see for sure here in a little bit. It's every candle on that menu screen we saw earlier is basically a song that you play through. So the story doesn't really go anywhere for the most part. It's more or less just let's dance to succeed, and then you succeed and like, yay, I'm gonna go home now, I'm Gabriella. But I do like this music though. As somebody who's not a huge fan of most normal music, I guess I would call it, or mainstream music or whatever, this like very snowboard kid sounding like Atlas music. Or maybe like, I don't know, maybe not Atlas, but it's very light and very video gamey music, and I like it. I like this song a lot, particularly. I like this little hand motion they make you do here, where you like flick your hand back and forth. So, I will say that if you don't actually want to play this game, you can just basically shake the controller in the rhythm to the song, and you'll complete everything. I would recommend that if you're trying to 100% the game, because at some point, at least I found it to be very difficult to, again, read what the game wants from you without memorizing all the song's motions, and then also understand what the game is looking for. Like, I don't know if we'll see it here later, but there's like one part where it's like, there's like this kind of stabbing hand motion where you like kind of push your hand out into the sky beside you. And even though I did that, multiple times in a way that felt accurate, I missed it every time until I just really started like abusing kind of the movement of the controller to find what kind of shake it was looking for exactly. So, but yeah, it's just a pretty cute game overall. I think we'll see it later, but I think what's probably the most fun of this game is, playing through it once, just kind of seeing the silly story, all these little cute animations and stuff with the cute characters. It is I assume this was definitely marketed towards children, but it's basically kind of this. In doing this quick play, we're probably going to see the majority of the game. It's a very short game. It took me about 30 to 45 minutes to play through. There's no additional levels. I think there's only multiple dancers in the multiplayer mode. In the single player, you just dress up Gabriella in different ways. There is a short option for these songs, but as far as I can tell, it's basically just a way for you to do a shorter version of the song, and that shorter version isn't scored in any way. So it would be 100% just for fun. You wouldn't be like earning anything or stuff like that. This is actually, if you're not familiar, Gabriella's Ghostly Groove, as far as I can tell, was originally going to be a Nintendo DS game. And then that got, I don't know if canceled's the right word, but like moved to Nintendo 3DS. So there's a game called Gabriella's Ghostly Groove 3D on Nintendo 3DS. And I haven't had a chance to check that out yet, but that really seems to be the core Gabriella's Ghostly Groove product. This game, Monster Mix, I don't remember how much it cost. I would expect anywhere between like $5 and $10 with how WiiWare pricing was. But this seems like maybe they just took some of the 3DS assets and said these are good enough for Wii, and maybe tweaked them a little bit, and then said, hey, maybe we can put this on the Wii itself and kind of. Here's the stabbing motion. Like I never could figure out what it was looking for. But it feels like that this is a cheap product overall, this WiiWare one particularly. It is nice just because you get to see, even though it's only at like 480p, you do get to see these characters, running on a larger TV versus like Gabriella's Ghostly Groove on the 3DS. Admittedly, again, I haven't played Gabriella's Ghostly Groove on 3DS. I think one of the easiest questions you could probably ask is it worth pursuing this game these days? The answer is, I think, very obviously, probably not. Unless you already have a hacked Wii or Wii U where you can easily download WiiWare games. This is a cute game. I liked playing this game. I don't regret spending whatever $5 to $10. I'm not going to say it's a great value for that, but I don't regret spending that money on this. And I think a big part of a lot of Wii games in general, and in the case of this is absolutely true, is just like, sometimes you just have to do what the game is asking of you, like, just to have fun. Like, yes, you don't have to do any of this actual dancing, but you're kind of just robbing yourself of the experience if you just decide to sit there and like wiggle the Wii remote. You can do that. I can't stop you from doing that. I definitely did it to 100% of the game because I just found a lack of consistency in tracking. But if you do decide to play this, I'd encourage you to, like, play through the first 10 missions or however many missions it is. Or not first 10, all of them. And just enjoy it. Again, like 20-30 minutes of bad dancing. If you're like me, you're gonna be a bad dancer and you're just gonna be okay with it. So it's but it's fun. I think that's what's important. Is I had a good time with it. I mean, in terms of dancing games on the Wii, I haven't played any other ones. Just Dance is obviously the big series. So I am curious quality-wise how this compares, like in terms of tracking, because the original Wii Remote is not a great tracking device. It's great for detecting very specific, like, movements and shakes, but not like great for detecting more like, hey, you're doing a dance move kind of thing, or swinging a sword or something like that. It's not great for those things, with the exception of something like Dragon Quest Swords, which actually, kind of does some other stuff to kind of like fake it to work, fake it to make it. So, from a gameplay perspective, this game probably doesn't have any real extra value versus, I'm sure there's probably, in addition to Just Dance, plenty of other Wii games that try to capture this very same market. But I think this one has a style to it. I really like Gabriella's look. We'll change her clothes here, I think, in a little bit. But really, unlocking the clothes and stuff, it's fun, but by the time you're doing that, you're already kind of at the end of the game where you're kind of just completing everything. And I guess if you're gonna dance to this game legitimately and try to 100% it that way, you probably would spend a lot of time, dancing to these songs. But I think the real problem is just that, like, I feel like I'm not great at mimicking the moves on screen, but the problem is that even if I'm doing the moves completely wrong, the game still tracks it as great frequently. So in the same way that happens, I lose confidence in the ability for the game to track that I'm actually doing a good job. Because if it can't tell that I'm doing a bad job, then how is it going to tell that I'm doing a good job? I guess. But like I said, like, if you do decide to play this, it's just good fun. Don't worry too much about it. Don't think too much about it. It's just a cute game. It's got a nice aesthetic to it. At some point, I would really like to try doing another dance game on the Wii or Wii U. I've been looking at maybe doing the Yokai Watch Just Dance game. I do like Yokai Watch music quite a bit. So I thought that might be an interesting place to kind of take a look and see, how they control. I did watch some Just Dance gameplay, and I think really kind of the big improvements that franchise has over something like Gabriella's is, in the case of Gabriella's, like, the hand she uses, or the hand that you are using to hold the Wii remote isn't really marked on Gabriella very well. I mean, yes, it's in her hand, and you can, like, kind of, she's not like spinning and turning around very often, so you can, as long as you kind of keep track. Oh, we're gonna go into the items here. Let's take a look at these items. Take a look. So yeah, there's like probably about 6 or so dresses. Looks like maybe closer to 8, 9, 10. I can count. And then I think there's like 5 or 6 hairstyles, and you can change the color of the hair, the color of your eyes, and then also like the color of your skin, or your foundation, I guess is what it is. Oh, you have like little hats and stuff. It's cute. Again, it's just a very cute game aesthetically. It's fun to customize your character, but it does take a little while to actually unlock. By the time you've beaten the game, you probably haven't unlocked the majority of this stuff. So it's really the post-game stuff where you're doing it. Anyways, so like I was saying earlier with Gabriella and her hand, like, it's not clearly marked which hand's getting tracked, and when you're like actively playing the game, it can be easy to lose track or like not think about it, and so you can kind of lose your hand positions a lot easier. Whereas something like Just Dance, from what I can see, like all the people who are dancing wear a glove on the hand that's like being tracked by the Wii remote, I believe. So you can kind of keep a better idea of like what movements they're doing and what part of their movements are going to be tracked by your or the game is looking for, essentially. The other thing I noticed with Just Dance is that bottom bar there, where you see the little Gabriella going across to kind of give you some information. It seemed a lot more descriptive of what moves are actually going to happen in Just Dance, and they seem to come a lot more frequently. In this case, I think it's great for me. What I really used it for was when there are parts of the song where I knew the game was going to have a hard time tracking. I would kind of keep an eye on the icon and recognize which icon was I like this little motion. I'd keep an eye on the icon, and then when I found saw the one that was problematic, then I would really take notice of when it was coming up. But for these parts like this, where you're just dancing and going, basically I just try to keep up with Gabrielle as much as possible. But a lot of it, I'm not really looking at the footage right now, so I'm not really commenting on my gameplay very much. But well, I am looking at the footage, but I'm not paying attention to it. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry. Rest in peace. We're too far into this quick play to stop, though. Dance, Gabrielle. Yeah, I just like this music a lot. It's fun music. I tried to look up to see if there's like a OST for this game online, but I only ever found the OST for the 3DS game. I'm not sure if they have the same songs. They are, as far as I can tell, very different games. Being on 3DS, the other one has more of like a touchscreen input kind of thing. I don't think it's particularly expensive, though. I'm kind of surprised how much Natsume, the publisher is Natsume. I forget who actually made it. My brain is saying that Cave made it, but I don't know for sure. But like, I'm kind of surprised how much they invested in this series, not only, creating it for DS, but then moving it over to 3DS. They had like an E3 booth for it with a big old Gabriella statue and stuff. And then they made this weird thing. I don't know. It's just like a silly, fun thing. It's a little sad that I get the impression this game bombed pretty hard. I could be wrong. Well, not this game particularly, but Gabriella's Ghostly Groove as a whole bombed pretty hard. I could see somebody saying, like, aesthetically, this is pretty generic. It's kind of just like chibi anime. But I think I maybe particularly have a soft spot for any kind of, like, chibi horror kind of stuff. Like the cute vampires and things like that. That little cute vampire dude on the right, Vlad. I just really like it. I like the facial expressions. They're very, very charming and happy. And like I said, I think the animations of this game are actually pretty good. I actually really like how the characters move. I think the game runs at like 60 frames per second. I could be wrong about that, but it's just very, very clean looking. It's just not very exciting to play. But like I said, 20-30 minutes, just, flail about in front of your TV for a little while, and you'll see all the zombies come home, and just be satisfied with it. Really, if you just continue to play it and try to like unlock stuff, all you really do is add more zombies to the background. If you even get anything for those zombies, I honestly don't even know. I couldn't really tell. I thought maybe I got an additional ending, but I think it might have been exactly the same. I don't know. And then the outfits. But by the time you unlock all the outfits, you've completed everything in the game, so there's not a lot you can do with it. Then just continue to dress up your little Gabriella. It's a good time. So I guess that's it. I think that's probably enough Gabriella's Ghostly Groove, enough me dancing in a corner of the screen. I don't know when you'll ever see me dance again. Maybe we'll get Yokai Watch Just Dance and we'll look at it then. This game made me suddenly want to try out a Just Dance game, which I can't say I normally would say. So yeah, like I said, this game is a WiiWare title, so unfortunately you can't buy this game legitimately anymore. I'm gonna take a strong guess that if you want to get it though, you can. And then there's also the 3DS game is still out there. There's actual physical copies of Gabriella for 3DS. So maybe we'll take a look at that someday. I now have the ability to capture some 3DS gameplay. So as long as that game is compatible, I should be able to do it then. All right. Thank you very much for your time. OneControllerPort.com is the website. Just as a reminder, I have a weekly podcast that goes up. And then also video reviews and stuff. Castlevania 64 is coming up next week, hopefully. So if you're watching this after July 2nd, I think it is, go check out my Castlevania 64 video. It's definitely the same type of game. Not really, but that's okay. I also stream every Thursday at 7 o'clock Pacific time. 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Currently, I think we'll be playing Mega Man X4 here in the near future. I think the day after, when this comes out, the day after that, we'll be doing like a general 3DS stream. But after that, I think Mega Man X4 is the next plan if you're watching this later down the line. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you have a great week. Bye.